wow.
This week on Heart of Oak.
Everybody rose to the occasion, they worked together, and here we are.
Hi, I'm Lizzie,
And I'm PJ.
and we're Oak Development and Design.
Just hang 1,800 pounds in the air. Hope we don't break it. We tear down and rebuild houses. High fives for taking houses down.
From spec homes to custom renovations and design. Stop, you're bad at this.
We save what we can.
Rebuild what we can't.
Not exactly sure how we're gonna pay for it yet. It's not stressful. I'm not stressed.
Whoa!
We do it all here in New England, where we call home. We don't just flip houses.
We create homes.
Heart of Oak is brought to you by
Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Cam Appliance. Make your next appliance a Cam Appliance. Mid-Cape Home Centers. Serving building professionals for 125 years. Mountain One Bank, where banking is in our nature.
Squirrel Hill, definitely one of my most challenging sites I've
Yeah.
ever built,
Yeah.
ever in my entire career.
So
Remember what
they
that
were-
place looked like?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a small farm.
So the barn itself was built in the 80s, and it was built fine, which is why we saved it.
Yeah. Well, I thought the thing that was cool was that we could show the buyers what it was going to look like, but keeping the existing barn and the existing foundation, basically. And that was hard for people to see, that we were going to like connect all of that. And it's pretty crazy when you put the rendering next to an actual photo of the house.
It's like
It's like
identical.
exact. Oh, wow.
Here we are.
Awesome. So one thing that I loved that we were able to do in this house was give it like a formal entryway.
It gave us a really convenient spot for the staircase.
It's funny that you say that because like I don't think about that at all. Like, oh, this is going to give us a great spot for the staircase. Like I don't think about that, but it makes sense.
So that's like the number one thing we look at when we're looking at cross sections of plans. It's like, well, where are the stairs going to fit? Because
Yeah.
that's the most complicated part.
Yeah.
The thing that I really love about the house is the simplicity of the design. I think sometimes people overthink built-ins and mudrooms, and I think at the end of the day, it's perfect.
Right. It's what they needed.
Yeah,
and what they
exactly.
wanted.
As we flow into the dining room,
Yeah.
this is definitely one of my favorite parts of the house.
This table is so big, but it's not.
Overpowering.
No.
Just the flow of the whole thing with the fireplace and the shiplap, everything about it worked. The thing that I really love about this room is the fireplace. It's by far the biggest gas fireplace we've ever put in.
It's awesome.
The
Where did
gas
you get the
insert-
beams?
These beams came from Katana Sawmill
Okay.
down on the Cape, and they
Yeah.
were pre-finished.
Yeah.
I think doing the custom built-in worked out really, really well.
Yeah. It just looks like it was meant to be here.
So I know I said the other room was my favorite, but I lied. This is my favorite room in the house. What a good call to keep the building in.
Oh yeah.
Everybody thought we were crazy, but I don't know.
The other thing too is we've never done anything like this before. This kitchen is like a spectacle with the ceiling and the beams and all
There's
of that.
nothing about this room that I would change, other than the fact that they need a table.
Right, and we know that that's something that they're planning on doing. When we talked to them about the kitchen layout, it was this big with that in mind.
Yeah. And then obviously, huge upgrade with the Wolf and Sub-Zero stuff.
Right, which I think was such a good move.
Such a good move.
Yeah, I love how the countertops came out, going all the way to the window, but I love the cement. I think both of us loved the idea of cement, but we're a little bit skeptical as to like how it was gonna come out.
And I was pretty nervous doing this because it's the first one we'd ever done. And
Yeah.
I was hoping it came out right, but
Yeah.
our boy Jordan crushed it.
With this space being so big, I feel like it's important to have some kind of element that like warms it up. And I understand that concrete is not something that you think of as like warming up a space. But if these were just sort of like a white marble or quartz countertop,
It'd be
it
very
would just
cold.
be so stark in here.
I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
And the fact that we kept this original part of the house and
Yeah.
did this with it is like what makes it kind of
Yeah, I
coolest.
mean, everybody thought we were
Spot.
crazy, but I think in the end it worked out great. One thing that we talked a lot about was the stove.
I remember pulling it out of the roof of it with the excavator, and I was like, are we even gonna really be able to use this thing? So
Well, it was in really rough shape, right?
it was in very rough shape.
It's just cool to have a piece of history, a piece of the original house,
Yeah.
and have it look so nice in the house,
it
which is
looks
awesome.
brand new, which is kind of crazy.
All right.
Oh, what'd you bring me?
Oh, I brought you a present. Our friends at SMU Millworks gave us a bunch of these to give out. So I wanted to leave this for them.
Yeah.
And then also our buddies over at Bentwine, which is an awesome local brewery.
Yeah.
I loved how this tile came out.
Thank you very much.
Drum roll.
I'm just kidding. No, I think it looks awesome. This sink is so cool.
I know, it was such a pain in the butt to hang on that wall.
But this is awesome. It's so functional in here. This space is huge. You could like take a nap on here.
So, the most important room in the house, the master suite. I don't think it's big enough.
But again, it doesn't feel like too cavernous or anything. I mean, I know that it's so big.
This is all part of the gambrel design, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the roof lines.
Right.
And so you get that inside, and I personally love the angles.
Right. And again, like they didn't just go and like fill the whole thing. Like you can put like a little seating area or another dresser if you want.
And then the master bath is just killer.
Yeah. I just want to take a bath. I was a little bit skeptical about what we were going to do on the back of this tub.
Yeah, you were completely against
Well, I
that.
didn't really know if it would make sense. Yeah, that detail behind it came out really nicely.
I know somebody that would give you a hug for saying that because he was up until 1 in the morning 2 days before we closed. I mean, everybody just killed it with this bathroom.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love all the houses that we do, but I'd have to say my favorite house to date is Squirrel Hill. It was the most challenging site I've ever worked on, and yet everybody rose to the occasion. They worked together, and here we are. We have this beautiful single-family home with a really happy family excited to be here. What more can we ask for? That's why we do what we do.
Was it at Meadowlark that you got stung by the bee? According to Oakley, you had needles in your blood pipes.
20,000 acres and counting burned.
Dozens of homes we've seen destroyed throughout this fire.
According to fire officials, and so many more communities threatened. We are
Selecting the best appliance for your renovation can be a lot of work, and CAM Appliances is here to help. We have the largest selection of appliances in southeastern Massachusetts, and it's our pleasure to help you select the best appliance for you, your home, and your family.
Right now, when you purchase select Monogram professional range or cooktop and wall oven, get a $1,500 credit towards the Monogram appliance of your choice.
All the newest features in one showroom. It's going to be so easy. Make your next appliance a CAM appliance.
Yeah, it's been a very, very interesting year.
Eventful year.
Very eventful year.
Yeah. We moved.
We moved, you quit your job,
Yep. I
took a job with me.
I didn't quit my job. I just decided that it was not feasible to stay there.
Correct, yeah, it was too far away.
Yeah.
Expanding the team, obviously Jared got a promotion. We brought Andrea on, Ernie's now full-time.
Julie is full time.
Julie, our office manager that refuses to be on TV. She's
Who
on
makes
full-time.
all of this happen?
Yep. Then obviously our production crew is growing.
But we did a lot of projects.
A lot of projects. You know, when our investor brought Meadowlark to the table, which is very rare. Normally I'm bringing
Yeah.
deals, but he showed up with it like ready to go. He's like,
Yeah.
I got an offer in, let's do it.
Yeah.
And when he brought it, he walked me through and he's like, what do you think? I was like, the place is massive,
Yeah.
first of all.
How big is it?
It was like 4,200 square feet with the basement.
And that's what, we didn't add any square footage. We just fully.
We actually took square footage away because the whole basement used to be done. We only finished
Oh.
part
So that
of the
it would
basement.
leave like storage and utilities and stuff like that.
Well, also we just didn't know, like, is it worth doing the whole
Yeah,
thing? Like, are we
yeah.
gonna get that much more money
Right,
for it? So we
right.
just opted to take the cautious route with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, 4,200 square feet had what? 1, 2, 3, 4.5 bathrooms.
Yeah.
We added the outdoor shower, that huge deck. The house was huge.
Yeah.
But what I loved about this house is we worked within the parameters.
Yeah.
And when Glenn was trying to like push the envelope with finishes like he likes to do, I had to choke him down and be like, no, like we have to hit a price point here. We have to be smart.
Yeah.
And we can get the same level of luxury finish without going over.
Right. And I
Right.
feel like we hit that. You know, we were
Oh.
able to do that with things like the accent walls that we put in. The kitchen was really nice. It had great appliances. All of like the outdoor landscaping ended up looking great. You know, doing the sod on the front yard was totally worth it, even though it was how much?
Oh,
3,500
worth every
square
penny. But the
feet.
thing was, is we were on budget, which was great.
Yeah.
And so the business model worked all the way through.
Yeah.
And then we priced it accordingly. We weren't greedy. We
Right.
priced it at the right price and we
Right.
unloaded it.
Yeah.
So in the end, for our first, well, this is our second Cape House, but the first
Yeah.
one in a long time that
Yeah.
we've done, in, you know, the time of year where we risked potentially missing the market,
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with how it came out.
Was it at Meadowlark that you got stung by the bee?
No, I was on my way to Meadowlark. I left the office in Hingham.
Where did you get stung? So story is.
Story is, I got stung walking out of the tiny house,
Yeah.
and
Came home, you were like, oh, look, I got stung by a wasp.
yeah, like no big deal. Like, yeah, it hurt, but whatever. So I was on my way down to Osterville to check the job. And as I got on the highway, I started itching like this. I'm like, man, why am I so itchy? Looked in the mirror and was like, oh, I think I have a problem. I went to the pharmacy. You and I talked on the phone. Of course, you were like, maybe you should go to the hospital.
And you were like,
I'm
oh, no, I'm good. I'm not going to the hospital. I don't need to go to the hospital.
Well,
The
I didn't
bee's
think it
sting.
was that bad. I just thought I was getting a rash. 10 minutes later, down
Full
in here.
anaphylactic shock.
100% full anaphylactic shock. Within 4 minutes, I have needles sticking my legs.
According to Oakley, you had needles in your blood pipes. Didn't think anything of it. Your face swelled up. You couldn't breathe. You called your wife. She told you to go to the hospital. You were like, no, I think I'm fine. I can probably make it to
Yeah,
the
but the
Cape. Then you
pharmacist
called
told
your
me I'd
aunt,
be fine.
Listen to her, and we're like, oh, by the time I got to the hospital, I had chest pains. So now you carry
But then in
EpiPen.
Osterville, like 2 weeks later, Jared and I are planting hydrangeas and there's like bees everywhere. 20 bees within 5 feet. And I was like, I'm out.
I'm out. Back it up.
And I don't have my EpiPens with me.
Oh, that's real smart of you. You got a death wish?
No, we're close enough to a hospital. You drive fast. You used to race cars.
Challenge accepted.
And he's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Well, whatever. I mean,
Does that make you nervous now?
I'm very much way more aware of bees now than I ever was in the past, yes. So I remember the moment that I called you and said I bought another house, which you are getting used to at this point. And I say that like I can afford all these houses. It's not my money, but I called you and said, hey, we bought another house, and I told you what it was, and you went by.
And I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it-
the transformation of the
Yeah.
antique reno.
For what it was to what it looks like now is pretty amazing.
And the fact that we put no square footage on it. We used
Yeah.
the exact frame.
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't trust me at the beginning.
No, I didn't. But the inside of it's really cool too. It has all of those really cool, it's got a lot of character. It has lots of different levels and like,
It's one, I would say
know?
it's one of my favorite layouts because it was so hard to figure out.
well, it's so different from anything else.
Yeah, completely different than anything we've
Right.
done,
I
which
mean,
is
I
cool.
feel like you would never necessarily ask for a house to be designed that way. I mean,
No.
you might, and it came out awesome, but it's not something I think you would think of right off the bat to do.
No, I think we did a great job of working within the parameters we had.
Yeah.
Making it work within the walls of the existing
Yeah.
foundation.
Yeah, it's awesome. When I go into it now, I actually think my favorite part is the fact that it has 2 staircases. I think having 2 staircases is something I always wanted when I was little in a house. But I really like all the separate levels. It makes the house feel bigger. It makes it be able to have more of like a spread out feel, even though it's not very big.
It also has a cozy feel
Yeah.
because the rooms aren't huge.
No.
But it's much more open after we did what we did.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you feel very at home when you're in that house, which
Right.
is, I think, my favorite part. I think what was really cool about that house is half the house was built in the 90s. The main part of the house was built, you know, in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Early 1900s antique. And so what was really fun was fixing it, not tearing it down. For me, I think it's more important to save what's there.
Right.
But then bringing in those little architectural elements like the little roof over the front door and keeping that because it was there. And then actually Jared's idea of replicating it for the bottom.
Yeah.
And he replicated the brackets and we recreated it. So we took a historic element and then
Right.
recreated it on the lower part of the house.
Yeah.
And then also the way that we painted it all one color.
Right.
All the
Trim
trim the
and
same
siding,
color.
yeah.
I think it was kind of fun to resurrect an antique, not necessarily historically correct,
Right.
because we didn't have to adhere to historic guidelines.
Right.
But it was fun to resurrect it and give it the appearance of a historic
Yeah.
house. The place was built a long time ago. All the wires and the plumbing were crap.
One of our biggest changes this year is that we finally got this little
guy.
dog.
When you're a kid, you're taught to follow the leader, to get in line, to conform. But conformity is the enemy of creativity. Best to expand your imagination with TimberTech, now offering multi-width decking, revolutionary design versatility backed by a 50-year warranty that invites the style found inside your home, outside. Follow no one. Inspire everyone. TimberTech. Go against the grain.
Have you ever dreamed of having a kitchen that perfectly reflects your lifestyle and personality? Our talented kitchen design team has the expertise to navigate layout challenges, help you make smart decisions, and work within your budget. With each step and every decision, we'll be there. So if you're dreaming of a new kitchen, you can visit a showroom, download our design guide, or schedule a free home design meeting.
So when we started the white reno, there were so many different things that were going to be challenging.
Yeah.
Number one, the place was built a long time ago. All the wires and the plumbing were crap in the area of the house that we needed to go in. And I knew that because I knew a plumber and an electrician that had worked in that house previously.
Oh, really? To the owners that had bought it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they warned me of it. So, you know, it had its challenges with the construction side. But then on top of that, they wanted to make the space really functional.
Yeah.
You remember how they wanted to open up that whole first floor?
Right.
And obviously, what does that take? Which we learned was a steel beam.
I want to tell you about how difficult it is to put a steel beam into a house. But I'm the editor. I don't know anything about this. But PJ does.
I guess I'll try to explain. So basically, because of the side location, we had to bring a crane in, lift the beam over the house, and slide it in on the side in a hole that Frankie cut in. Basically working it down that center section where the temp bracing is, across a bunch of pipes, working it in 1 inch at a time until it's in place. And we have a beam.
Right.
And so at first, we weren't going to put the beam in.
And you were going to have posts
We were going to have
into
posts.
the island.
And then as we started getting through it, we got them to, you know, take the extra expense on for the steel beam, which we kind of knew would end up happening at the beginning.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to walk through and do it stage by stage.
Yeah.
So we convinced them to put the steel beam in, which, as we know, was difficult because we had to go in the side of the house, get a crane in there. But by far the best move they made.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, it just made the whole space open.
Yeah,
more
I feel like if
functional.
it had posts down to the island, it would change the whole look of it. I don't think they would have liked it. It just really gave them exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and then upstairs, the way we opened up that end of the master,
Yep.
found a bunch of unused space in the eaves that we were
Right, to
able
use
to capitalize
closet
on.
space. Yeah.
Closet space
Yeah.
and making the bathroom bigger than
Yeah.
we had originally drawn.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, the place came out great. We did it fast.
Well, and it now flows with the rest of the house, which is beautiful. The rest of that house is so pretty.
So pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
And since we stopped, we've actually redone their front door and we put all new shutters on. So I guess they still like us.
Yeah. One of our biggest changes this year is that we finally got this little
guy.
dog.
Frank. How did we come up with the name Frank?
Oakley wanted to name him Frank.
Oakley just came up
yeah.
with it?
And then Jack calls him Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. He's 12 weeks old
Yep.
and almost 30 pounds.
And he's the best.
It's the new addition.
So he'll just be right here.
One thing I really loved about this season was two things that we did. One was the Generation T event,
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Where you guys built dog houses?
where we built dog houses
Yeah.
with the high school kids.
Yeah.
Generation T is actually sponsored by Timberland Pro,
Yeah.
which we know is one of our sponsors. And they
Yeah.
connected with me and said, hey, we're doing this event. We'd love for you to come out and participate. And I was like, well, if we're going to do that, why don't we make it a segment of the show?
Yeah.
Because it just helps generate interest to Generation T. So we're here today at the Milford High School out in Milford, Massachusetts with our partners Timberland Pro. Gen T is committed to promoting the fact that we need to bring shop class back to high school. So today we've got a couple hundred kids here and we're working with them to build dog houses. It's not a competition, we're all about safety today. And at the end of the day, the goal is to have a series of dog houses that are going to be donated to a bunch of ASPCAs in the local area.
If you can build a dog house, you can pretty much build anything.
What do you think you're thinking about doing after high school?
I'm gonna build houses, do construction, probably become an engineer, something like that.
I want to be an engineer when I grow up or when I'm in college and studying. And I've always liked to build stuff with my hands, like Legos and all that. And I saw this at the school and I was just like, okay, this looks fun.
Timberland is a company we believe with our heart, so Gen T is just an extension of that. When I go home tonight and I turn my faucet, water is going to come out. When I hit my lights, the lights are going to go on, and it's because of the American worker. So there's going to be a skills gap of about 3 million people if we don't fix this. This can be your path, right? Yeah. They just don't know it yet because they haven't been exposed to it. And it's amazing how much dignity and value is in this work to just keep the rest of us going from point A to point B.
I couldn't agree more. And this is... And then the other thing was the friendship home.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
It was really fun.
That was really fun to work there and do that for them. I think it was something that they were so appreciative of.
Totally.
I mean, you know, we still keep in touch with them. We went to their gala, which was awesome. So renovating Friendship Home's lobby and doing the Generation T event, I think we should definitely try to find more ways to give back like that.
So the party started, the room is done. I was literally on my hands and knees this morning at 9 o'clock, wrapping a couple last minute touches up, but 2.5 weeks, we crushed it, it's done. Let's go check it out. This entire time, we're like, oh yeah, we're fine, we're gonna make it, we're gonna make it. It was like down to the wire. I didn't want to admit that with Andrea next to me. Well, we made it.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
We did.
Everyone loves the space. They love the accent wall. They love, it's just beautiful. It's very warm and inviting, just like Friendship Home. So it's gonna make all the difference for us in the coming years.
Well, I can say I speak for everybody involved, from Jim, our electrician, Frankie, Ricardo, Jera, the floor guys, everybody involved was like totally amped to help. And everybody, we had most materials donated, and we were really, you know.
So incredibly grateful to everyone that was involved in this project.
Yeah, and we were happy to do it, and we're looking forward to the next one, because I'm sure there's one like right around the corner now.
We have another one lined up for you.
She's gonna get her grips in me. But anyway, thank you for having us involved, and I think we should go enjoy the party.
Yes, we definitely should.
Season 1 was good. Season 2 is great. Season 3 is gonna be awesome.
We're gonna crush it.
We're gonna crush it.
From Boston to Cape Cod and the islands, designers, architects, contractors, and homeowners make Baloo Tile and Marble their first stop for tile and natural stone projects. We carry an incredible selection of tile and marble from around the world to suit any budget and style. Whether you're planning a simple refresh or a major remodel of your home, visit a Baloo Tile showroom. Experience our excellent customer service and talented design team for yourself.
Heart of Oak is brought to you by Mountain One Bank, where banking is in our nature. Mountain One does more with your money so you can think less about banking. Visit them at mountainone.com.
So let's talk about season 3. I bought a house that we ended up tearing down with everything in it, which was a nightmare. Ended up being 13 dumpsters.
That was a really fun project to work on. I don't think you need to make the bedroom bigger. The bedroom is huge.
Crushed it.
Good thing I'm here. The plans that we drew ended up being completely opposite of what we actually built.
If you think back about how we completely flipped the upstairs, right?
Welcome to the huge basement here at the Hope Project. I've never done a golf simulator before, so I really want to make sure that we're maximizing the space. I need all the help I can get.
What's cool about that project, it was on 1.7 acres, we had a lot of room. It was like a dream lot. The big question is, are we putting a pool in? Yeah. It had tons of drainage already. The best part about this entire situation is that drainage is not going to be an issue. I would say this is probably the first job that you were able to like really push the limits with your design.
It's so white. We did something a little bit different in the mudroom. We painted that whole thing black. It's obviously not black right now. Like we actually made it look like a piece of like built-in furniture.
I mean, that looks so much better.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I mean, even their like whole master suite, you feel like you're kind of walking into this really grand
like a wing.
space. Yes, well, they have that really cool sitting room that's like right off of their room.
We got like a whole bonus room.
And to be honest, I was skeptical, even as we were building it.
This all becomes one big room.
Like, is this room even really worth having?
I actually think it's one of the best rooms in the house.
Yeah, and Jared did an amazing job. I didn't know that Jared was going to build this out the way that he did.
You know who's pumped about that house? Frank. Are you excited?
But I feel like we're doing a good job.
I think so. Yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
Crushing it.